Lost Soul aside, let's get to it. Let's see what they talking about.
Aside from a confused, misguided mishmash of different and poorly executed ideas that take turns setting up rakes for itself to step on, Lost Soul Aside is an enjoyable character action game.
I've had a blast in battles and boss fights, but too often in between them I had to slog through a repetitive story plagued with unmemorable characters, levels peppered with awkward platforming, and puzzles that would make the shape-matching challenges you'd give to a toddler look like rocket science, all disguised in a deceptively flashy package.
The demo was fire. I played the demo on PC. It was lagging. I'm gonna still play the PS5 demo though. But the demo was fire.
Originality is fleeting in the ever wider tent of high-budget fantasy action games with flashy combos and light RPG elements. And normally that's not an issue. Even a competent take on a character action game inspired by the likes of Bayonetta or Devil May Cry is probably going to provide some fluffy, inoffensive fun. And to its credit, Lost Soul Aside is more than competent as an action game.
Very Devil May Cry.
Clearly borrowing and worsening ideas from
Very
multiple recent
Final Fantasy
games
15.
in particular, it's not attempting an idea of its own that didn't work out, it's doing something badly that begs comparison to games that got the same ideas right, some of them nearly a decade ago.
A la Devil May Cry 5.
That's what drove me up the wall during my playthrough. I feel like I've been playing the product of boardroom meetings held a week after Final Fantasy 15 or 7 Remake came out, where the discussion was on how to capitalize on their success, rather than a passion project built by a team paying homage to those games. From a we have Noctis at home main character named Kaiser, to the story setup feeling awfully familiar, to the structure and scale of each level resembling a pared down Final Fantasy 7 Remake, with all of it peppered with uninteresting extra puzzles and platforming challenges, I found something new to sigh at around every corner. And trust me, that's not because I was swooning over the bad boy protagonist. Set in a sci-fi fantasy world where a mysterious alien energy has been immaculate to fuel an all-powerful empire.
Like, you see what this nigga got on, bro? The red leopard print with the leather jacket with the little cape taper off back here. What? With the boot? Nah, he is fly. Like, this man is fly.
Soul Aside opens with a premonition that humanity is soon to face its darkest days, and that a savior will rise to the occasion. Then you're thrust into an opening segment where you're introduced to an underground
She fly too. I like her fit too.
Run from a poor neighborhood in the capital city as they carry out an open act of defiance against the Empire. Sound familiar? If it doesn't, you should play Final Fantasy VII instead, because it's done better there, and this retelling doesn't do anything interesting or original with the idea.
You helped the Buckhorn Spirit Dragon escape my control. How touching. It's time to end this pathetic world-saving game of yours once and for all.
Yeah, alright.
Doled out through occasionally dazzling, action-packed cutscenes, but mostly insignificantly less impressive, awkward dialogue.
She fly too. Like, every character just flies fuck. Like, what's going on?
Shortly after you left, the Holy Order falsely claimed that we wreaked havoc in Primaris with monsters, and began to hunt us down.
Every opportunity for a twist or tonal shift is squandered in favor of a straightforward, black-and-white tale that doesn't feel like it's about anything other than wanting to be like other RPGs. Lost Soul Aside just doesn't use its roughly 16-hour runtime efficiently enough for any characters to grow. Instead, it flings proper noun after proper noun at you, hoping that one of its many side characters will make
it. Like, I was saying, because I heard him say the Holy Order, and I'm like, isn't that similar to DMC4? But they record the Order of the Sword. Similar shit. Yeah, they're heavily. The developers are heavily influenced by Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy.
Impression. But this story's rhythm moves too quickly
for anybody
to exist beyond cartoonish caricature at best.
What is it?
Got the little leg harness, ladies. I'm telling you. If it's any women watching this, that leg harness shit, this shit right here, the little leg harness shit, fire.
This is such a fascinating place!
Being generous, maybe their memorable characteristics were lost in the English translation, but maybe they were never there to begin with. Its individual story moments come in a similarly offbeat meter, with awkward animations and mostly flat voice acting filling in its hours worth of basic, over-the-shoulder dialogue segments.
Regardless of the Holy Order, we will continue to protect this place.
All of it is delivered by characters who often fall into unflattering RPG cliches, like a scantily clad woman who looks and acts like a teenager but is actually hundreds of years old, or a gruff, emo protagonist who'd fit in with a boy band and has a mysterious backstory and a penchant for kicking ass, without playing with or evolving these ideas in any discernible way. With a better localization, more lively voice direction, or a stronger commitment to the bit, Lost Soul Aside could perhaps have nailed the same B-movie campy charm worn so well by the action games that so clearly inspired its better parts. Instead, it's somehow both half-hearted and over-serious. Kaiser and his dragon-like sidekick Lord Arena eventually share a few moments that bent the edges of my lips into a smirk, But it takes so long for the pair to hit their stride that I was mostly checked out from the story and there only for the action by the time their dynamic clicked.
Was this developer's first game? It could be that. Like, maybe it was the developer's first game, so they're not really too keen on like how to nail certain characteristics of a character action game, for lack of a better term. Or for lack of a better way to put it. Beneath the mask.
Combat in Lost Soul Aside acts as a palate cleanser for the uninteresting story. Kaiser hacks and slashes through enemies with stylish flair, using the genre's standard light and heavy attack buttons. Mixing the two together with different timing and order will open up new combos, and you can unlock even more using points to fill out branches on a skill tree. With the choice between 4 different weapons, sword, greatsword, poleblade, and scythe,
I like
each
that
has its
weapon.
own skill path and playstyle, and switching them on the fly mid-combo opens up an expressive, varied tree of attacks catered to a range of playstyles.
That was the stinger. That was the
satisfying blow.
Almost like a million stab. That was almost like the million stab.
My favorite was the standard sword though, an all-around quick, agile weapon with solid ranged and melee attacks. It's remained my go-to for cutting up legions of invading Voidrax beings during the duration of my playthrough. Supplemented by additional mechanics like the combo extending burst pursuit that allows you to throw out big finishers, the witch time like perfect dodge that nets you a different powerful attack for each weapon, requisite though cleverly restrained parry, and the arena powers that let you throw out big area of effect attacks that work well for resetting the battlefield.
You got the little gauntlets.
Looks
like the Cerberus gauntlets.
Even against largely unmemorable enemies, I've really enjoyed experimenting with new combinations and powers as Kaiser and Arena's flashy animations dazzled during longer sequences.
Being targeted.
The boss fights make for even more stylish encounters. While bigger opponents play with scale, throwing out massive arena-sweeping attacks, others are nimble duels to the finish against human-sized opponents. Nearly every fight culminates in an exciting finale. Dosed with just the right amount of toothy challenge, each battle provided an appropriate, brain-tickling, thrilling showdown as I dodged and weaved between attacks before wailing on their stagger meter to deal a special sync finisher on my dazed opponent.
Can't escape.
I did find an odd pain point in some of the
hold on a second. I thought somebody rung my bell.
Though. There's not enough feedback when Kaiser takes damage from some smaller swings, so as I'm wailing away at a bad guy seemingly doing well, I'll glance down at my health bar and it's significantly lower than I thought it would be because I didn't know that I'd taken any damage in the first place.
Right, the hit detection is low.
Are talky enough that you'll hear about it once your health is really low, and those barks stand out against otherwise repetitive battle chatter. Unfortunately, Lost Soul Aside isn't a pure boss rush combat gauntlet, and the rest of the gameplay between each fight isn't nearly as compelling. Most of the levels are made up of a linear, boring series of corridors with occasional open areas that add an extra platforming challenge or two to the mix. Sure, there might be a basic puzzle or treasure chest around a corner as you walk through the series of generally empty rooms, though I used almost none of the crafting materials accumulated during my playthrough because the rewards didn't improve my stats enough to bother with. But nothing I've seen has really come close to justifying its existence beyond drab padding between battles. Its high-fidelity, visually detailed spaces mask simple, homogeneous non-combat challenges and empty chambers that toss a few unrewarding pickups your way, seemingly just to break things up. It was nothing offensive until the platforming reared its ugly head. At multiple points during Lost Soul Aside, I found myself jumping through platforming segments that could make even the Plinko and Chuckster levels that make up the dregs of Super Mario Sunshine look like a blast. Plagued with imprecise running and walking, floaty jumps with laggy feeling animations, poor feedback, a claustrophobic field of view, and a barely visible shadow, I am truly shocked at the low-quality platforming I endured to get from fight to fight. Some of it was optional, but I still had to do a lot to complete any given level. Thankfully, I could find ways to cheese some annoying segments, but don't expect to see anyone at GDQ showing off Lost Soul Aside speedrunning techniques. These are tourniquets used to slow fatal bleeding, not expressive tools indicative of a mechanically deep platformer.
Finally, we made it through.
Here we go. What's the verdict?
Lost Soul Aside would have been a great character action game if it hadn't gone out of its way to do anything outside of that. Cosplaying is a Final Fantasy game, its wheel-spinning story doesn't go anywhere, and an unmemorable cast of often derivative characters are played by actors who aren't given much to work with. Boring level design is going through the motions at best, and annoyingly unskippable at worst, and it's loaded with painfully poor 3D platforming sequences with extremely basic puzzles.
Ho ho!
It should really
A
just
5!
combat.
Whoa!
Check out our reviews of Hell Is Us or Shinobi.
I was not expecting that, IGN. Damn, it was that. You didn't like it that much? Hold on. Let me look at the Metacritic score. He violated. Damn. Even on Metacritic, it's getting looks like it's giving 3 out of 5. So this game is mid. Clearly, there's a reasonably compelling hack and slash buried under the rubble of a lost solar-sized B-movie ambitions. But you were repeatedly concluded you don't have the energy to sift through his gold nuggets from the unattractive grit in between. And you know what? Like, I just want to say this real quick. Like, when you have a new developer or like a developer that hasn't really delved into these types of games or doesn't really have a lot of these games under their belt, and then the game comes out and it's received this way, it just further limits any new IPs from coming out. Like, people, I'm not saying that you gotta like bad games, but like reviews and all of that, review scores are so heavily weighted in a game's success that it's almost kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair, especially if the company like is just getting their feet wet in the ground. This is gonna make them not ever want to try again, which is crazy to me. It's a little bit unfair. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to it. So Lost Soul aside, apparently this game's not all as cracked up to be. I played the demo. I enjoyed the demo, even through the lag. The lag was on my part because my computer is a little bit dated. It's from 2019. I'm building a new one. You can see the parts. You've been seeing the parts in the back of my videos for some time. I'm almost there. But yeah, it seems like it's not living up to, I guess, expectations. They said the voice acting wasn't all that. They said the platforming wasn't all of that. They praised the combat and the visuals, but you know, it just seems like this is like a Final Fantasy type ripoff. I didn't mind the influences because I love Final Fantasy Rebirth. I love 15 and I love Devil May Cry, which is this game was also heavily influenced by. I just hope this doesn't scare this developer away from trying again, because there's a lot of good here. All right, so y'all already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.